Israel's Prime Minister has admitted that his country is supporting a group in Gaza which opposes Hamas. Media reports say it's part of a Bedouin tribe led by Yasser Abu Shabab. The former Israeli Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman told a public broadcast that the government's giving weapons to criminals and felons. Well, Ksenia Svetlova is an expert in Middle Eastern affairs at Chatham House, as well as a former Israeli lawmaker. As for her reaction to the news that Israel is arming gangs in Gaza.
Well, first of all, chapeau and really great work of Israeli media, because otherwise the Israeli public and also the international society would not know about this. Definitely Netanyahu was not about to tell and to disclose this information that has to do also to state budget, because the budget is coming from the pockets of Israeli citizens. And in general, this is a very important part of his policy in Gaza. So I cannot say that I'm really shocked, because this idea of using the clans, the tribes in Gaza Strip to substitute the Hamas rule and to avoid bringing in the Palestinian Authority due to the opposition of the current Netanyahu government to the structure. This is something that was toyed with since the beginning of this war. So finally, Netanyahu found the clan and the family that is ready to work with him. And it's outrageous that today Israel funds a family that indeed, like was pronounced by the Avigdor Lieberman, it is a family of drug dealers, smugglers, and just recently, that was exactly the extended family that robbed the humanitarian trucks with humanitarian aid. So Abu Shabab said today in his interview to Wall Street Journal, "I'm not an angel," basically implying that, yes, these rumors, they are more than rumors. People in Gaza know it very well.
Just let's expand on that point. So we have this group led by Yasser Abu Shabab, known locally as Popular Forces. They've been accused previously of being involved in looting aid. Aid is now being distributed by this Israel and US-supported Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Tell us more about how all of that comes together.
So, first of all, we are talking about very specific area in Gaza. This is the eastern part of Rafah. This is the place where this specific clan family has its influence. And therefore, right now, is from what we understand, and information is scarce, this family, the militants under their control, are working with the IDF in order to, first of all, protect also the distribution of aid, not in the perimeter of the where this humanitarian fund for Gaza operates, but the routes that are close to it. And they also try to create this kind of secure zone, secure from Hamas, to the east of Rafah, in order to allure more people, the Gazans who are displaced, who need a place to live and so on. They tell them directly, come here, you will have a safe haven, you will be safe from Hamas, you will be also safe from the IDF, basically, you will have food, you will have water, medicine, everything that you need. Abu Shabab recorded a few videos where he issued this call towards the displaced population in Gaza to come and to be under his protection, basically posing himself as an alternative to Hamas.
And the benefit for Abu Shabab's Popular Forces of working with Israel is what? Greater influence?
Absolutely. I think that not only Abu Shabab, but also many other players in Gaza understand that Hamas indeed was weakened, all of its command, military, but also civilian, was eliminated, was killed during the war. Therefore, there are some pockets of vacuum. This vacuum, of course, it will be filled with someone's influence. Influence means money. Influence means weapon. So today you have Abu Shabab, but tomorrow you can have also perhaps other groups that would also perhaps compete with each other over these zones of influence. And eventually we are looking today at Somalization of Gaza Strip. instead of having one address that
Right.
could be, for example, Hamas's Palestinian Authority, you will have these pockets of influence of various groups, clans, criminal gangs, and essentially even terror groups.
Okay, and the whole thing becomes sort of diffuse in terms of who controls what. But I'd like you to tell us how you think this revelation affects the Prime Minister. Does it damage him or does it make him more popular?
Well, I undoubted that it will make him more popular, and we do see that the polls of public opinion are certainly not to his, favor. His power weakened very much since the tragic events of 10/7, since the massacre, and he did not regain yet, the popularity that he once had. But at the other side, I can also tell you that probably, his supporters that were not discouraged after the unbelievable failure of 10/7, after the prolonged war, the longest war of Israel till now, they certainly will not drop him, they will not leave him right now over support of, this clan, this gang, or whatever it is.
OK, thanks for talking us through that, Ksenia. Ksenia Svetlova from the Atlantic Council, former member of Israel's Knesset. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, I'm joined here in the studio now by our Middle East analyst, Shani Rozanes, to kind of flesh out what all of this means. So what do we know, first of all, Shani, about this group that's being talked about?
Well, we know there's a very carefully collaboration, very well planned, very carefully executed collaboration. It was actually spearheaded by the Shin Bet, the Israel security agency that is very much knows Gaza through and through, doing a lot of secret operations and so on. Netanyahu himself apparently was involved in all of this idea and approving it personally. And this has been going for a couple of good months, where Israel is secretly supplying this militia, this group, with weapons, supposedly weapons that were already in the Strip, so confiscated from Hamas, but still very much supporting the efforts of giving these people weapons, also helping them take control, de facto control of a part in Rafah, in the south of the Gaza Strip, where they have built a sort of a new tent town, where this militia on their Facebook page is inviting Gazans to move into under their auspices and promising any access to Hamas will not be given to that part of the Gaza Strip, basically promising them a safe haven in the Strip. And it's obvious that any of this, promise or any of these operations would not have worked without Israel agreeing, in any way to this and supporting it in any way.
At risk of asking the obvious here, what is the Israeli government trying to achieve with this? Defeat Hamas?
Well, in a way, that's what they're saying. Netanyahu himself also, when he admitted yesterday that this collaboration is happening, not in so many words, but basically saying we will do whatever it takes and think of any creative ways to defeat Hamas and weaken it. And what we're seeing in Gaza, this kind of militia, it's not the only one. Israel has been definitely ministers from the extreme right parts of the government, which is the dominant voices in Netanyahu's government. They've been dreaming about these third parties that are not Hamas, but also not, most importantly, the Palestinian Authority to take over Gaza. And this is the key here. This is basically connected very also much to the aid operation. The whole idea is for Israel is to find ways to legitimize its occupation of the Gaza Strip, maintaining that without needing to make any commitment for a future concrete plan of any other forces. We were talking about international, regional forces. There were many plans up in the air with the Biden administration, also Trump. And what Netanyahu is trying to carve here is basically bypassing all of that by trying to empower local Palestinian forces, though very dubious ones.
And what kind of reactions or responses have we been hearing? And I'm thinking of, obviously, the Israeli government, also from Hamas.
Yeah, well, surprisingly enough, Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, the right-wing members of Netanyahu's cabinet, are very loud in many other issues, and topics are quite quiet on this, and they seem to have been somewhat aware of this operation happening. And again, this is their interest. They want to see anybody but the Palestinian Authority or international forces, moderate forces, coming over to Gaza in hopes to maintain Israeli control over the Strip. And Hamas itself, of course, they're trying to look at these people, this militia, condemn them for being traitors, that are working with, with Israelis against the wishes and the aspirations of the Palestinian people. They, of course, deny it and see themselves as that militia group, that Abu Shabab group, they see themselves as the representatives of the true wish of the Palestinian people, taking care of them against Hamas's brutality and oppression.
Shani, what about the timing of this? The fact that we've got the Israeli Prime Minister admitting that this is going on. Why now? Do we know?
He was kind of forced to do that after Lieberman, the foreign defense minister, aired this plan. It was under wraps and in Israel for quite some time to many sources in the different circles. And of course, Netanyahu, also very much connected to the aid operation, wants to show that Israel is trying very much to make aid distribution a real functioning mechanism that Israel can support and can sustain for the longest time. Because he is now at a point that even Trump himself is very much pushing him to make sure this is happening, and Netanyahu needs to come up with answers, and this is partially his answer.
Okay. Our Middle East analyst, Shani Rozanes. As always, Shani, good to have you here in the studio. Thank you.